Welcome to the Tom Bernard Show with the family and
co-host Catherine Brandt,
Alex Brandt Bernard Rasmussen,
Andy Brandt Bernard,
and Kristen Burt.
Why does Kristen always have to go last? It's
well,
not fair.
Because she's our special guest.
I'm like the kid that won't go away, the kid that won't leave the dinner table.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey.
That's exactly what it is. Kristen Burt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So what's the latest, Kristen Burt?
I want to know if anyone saw CBS Sunday mornings with that Bill Belichick interview and his 24-year-old girlfriend.
It's all over the internet. That was the most awkward, weird thing. I've got to watch it.
About this.
It's about, I want to say somewhere between like a 6 and 9 minute interview. So the juicy stuff really comes in the back part of it. They saved it. But first of all, I want to know, I know he likes to wear his like athleisure. He's in a sweatshirt all the time.
Right.
But why did he choose to wear the one that y'all wear to bed? You know what I mean? The one that has holes you've had for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the pictures. It literally has a hole like right here.
Right
It
here.
does?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the distressed look.
Showing he doesn't care about.
No, they literally ask him. They're like, why this sweatshirt?
What does he say?
He was just like, this is comfortable. But it was I don't know. I just feel like for CBS Sunday mornings, you wear a sweatshirt. That's fine because that's within his comfort zone. But you wear the hoodie that maybe is on the newer side and it's fine. But
So how old is Bill Belichick?
73.
And he's dating a 24-year-old.
24, correct. Yep.
50-year difference almost.
That's so gross.
What?
So gross.
No, I understand the attraction on one side is Bill Belichick's a multi-millionaire, so I understand that.
Yeah.
But I don't understand, why would you even, I mean, they've got nothing against 24-year-old women, but.
No, she's beautiful. But this is the thing. This is the weird part of it, is that the interviewer, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but he asks Bill Belichick, like, hey, how did you guys meet? Now, the theory that's out there, and it's been out there for a while, so this wouldn't have been a revolutionary like moment or anything like that, was that they met on an airplane. And he signed her book and they stayed connected, whatever. But she interrupts the interview and says, we're not going to talk about that. Like and she's by the monitor. So she's with she's with the producer watching on the monitor and calls out in the middle of the interview. And then he's like, yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
That's weird.
I don't
Who
get
cares where they met?
Me being in Hollywood, well, I'm going to throw this out there.
Oh, dear.
Me being in Hollywood starts getting suspicious that you don't want people to look into the airplane theory that's how you met. Did you meet maybe in a paid service?
Yeah.
Did you meet on what is, does everyone know what yachting is?
Going on a yacht?
Yacht girls, yachting. It's very specific. So
Yacht
very
girls.
wealthy billionaire men hire women to go and you become a yacht girl. And you party with men. Maybe things happen. Maybe they don't.
Why would you want to do that?
Because you get paid
Money.
$100,000 for a weekend.
Yeah.
Why do the guys have to do? You got enough money to meet women?
Well, I think when you're in the billionaire class, it's
Yeah.
probably kind of, you're not like running around with the hoi polloi, right? You're just
No,
not.
no, that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah, you're just not. You can't relate.
Yeah.
And you're bored. Like you have so much money. Like what do you do with your
that's
money?
true.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have any indication that is what Bill Belichick is up to. Let's just establish that right away. But it does make me think when you start getting like, we can't talk about our airplane meet cute Hallmark moment. Then what is it?
Or
Well,
just
or just-
lie.
Yeah, make up a story and stick to it.
Like,
Yeah.
this is what we're telling people.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is how we met.
Don't go off script.
There was an orphaned kitten in a tree, and you climbed it, and then
There
you
you
fell, and
go.
I caught you, and
Yeah.
that's how we.
Oh, we see everybody would love
So
that.
cute. Everyone would think it's adorable. But I think people are starting to question, like, is he okay? Are his kids
Right,
concerned
right,
in terms of, because obviously he has some wealth.
Mhm.
And people swoop in at weird times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through it right now. I've got a case still going on with my
Really?
family. So
Really?
yeah. Yes. I'll be able to, I'm knock wood, I will be able to talk about it after May 23rd. And let me
dear.
tell you, it is a story for like true crime Netflix. It's so bad.
Oh,
Well, I'm glad you're talking about tough news to take because I wasn't going to tell you until later, but we're going to fire you and hire your husband.
no, we're not.
No,
If you want an entertainment report from Bill Mendieta, he's going to be like,
he's the best.
no, he likes to watch movies and stuff like that, but he doesn't know who any actor or actress is, even though he's in the business. He's always like, "Oh, wait, what?" I'll be like, "Did you hear what happened today?" And he's like, "No, what?" And I'm like, "How did you not hear?"
He was great. He came on. It's
Yes.
like he'd always been on the show. He knew exactly how the show
He's been
went.
listening to us for 12 years at this point.
He listens
Yeah.
every morning. He always has the app
It's great.
open. Yep.
It's great. He was really good. And we want to have him on. We got to figure out how to get him on the show more often
I'm
because
sure
he
he's
was
always
really
willing
good.
since he was Mr. Last Minute on Friday.
Going
like,
back to your
Get over here. You're on the show.
going back to your last story, I do have to point one thing out. Now, how old is Belichick again?
73.
73.
Well, he's my age.
He's your age.
Mhm.
So he's my age, me dating a 24-year-old. Now, the reason I'm bringing this back up again is when I met Catherine Brandt, I was 28 and she was 21, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I did was take her to a house party at my friend Marty's house. And all the guys and the women that were there, all of them came up to me and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Why don't you just have her wear a Girl Scout outfit to the, what is she, like 17? I said, "No, she's not 17. She's 21 years old." But even that back then at 28 and 21, people thought that was too big a split.
Melissa and I are 5 years apart, and sometimes she's like, "Oh, it's such a you're going to be 40," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're not that far behind me, you know."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan is 4 years older than me, and he'll sometimes be like, he'll make a reference.
My generation.
Yes,
Yeah.
or like he'll make a reference to, like the movie Dumb and Dumber, and he'll be like, "Are you too young to know what that is?"
You're like, come on.
Although
The
he is like a Gen Xer at heart
Yeah.
because he has
Yeah.
2 older brothers that are 8 and 10 years older
Yeah.
than him.
Oh, yeah. He
So
likes
this
that
is like-
culture.
Yeah, so he's not much of a
Yeah.
millennial.
And we have some minor examples of that, like we grew up watching basically the same shows, but since she's 5 years younger than me, she watched some of like the tail end shows that we watched on like the Disney Channel and that
Yeah.
sort of film.
Mhm,
with Drake
yeah.
and Josh.
yeah.
It's like I was too old for Drake and Josh.
Yeah,
I watched it, but I
and-
wasn't really into it. But,
yeah.
but then like even a couple years after that, it's like she talks about whatever the hell show, and I'm like, oh, I didn't watch that because I was too old for it. But
Well, if you think about it, 5 years is a long
yeah,
time for TV shows.
it is.
Yeah.
Or even a
Yeah.
popular
Think
movie
about-
to be huge and then just fade.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I
And
mean,
it-
like,
I was going to say it can be a long time too, because if you think like one person's in elementary school, the other person's in middle school,
Yeah.
very different. In terms of
Yeah.
I was gonna
that's-
say, even with like, look at the difference between our kids, like your kids, Andy, and my kids. Like, they're not interested in any of the same things.
That's
they have
very true.
completely
No.
different like schedules and
Yeah, sometimes, Melissa and I are like, we've been like, oh, I wish we had met each other earlier. But then you think about it, it's like, but how much earlier? Because when I was 25, you were 20. I'm like, that's not that big of a deal gap.
No,
but
no.
a little earlier than that. I mean,
How old was
17 and 22, that's getting kind of iffy.
I met Dan when I was.
It was a long time. Wasn't it like 10 years ago at this
We've
point?
been married for 10 years.
Yeah, so 12
Yeah.
12
years?
years
Yeah.
ago. So I was what, 20? How old am I? 20. I was 20.
Carry the
Good
one.
math.
24, and he's what? He would have been 30?
No, I remember when he turned 30. He's 4 years older.
4 years,
So,
so
he
he
was
would've been-
28.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but 17 and
works.
22, like why is a
Yeah, that's-
college student or someone just out of
Yeah.
college
Right.
dating a high school student? Like,
Right.
and
very
that's
true.
when I think it's inappropriate. But also, when does an age gap become uncomfortable?
That's a good point.
I'd
That
say
is a good
over 10 years, usually, like
Over 10.
11.
Ooh, snuck in by a couple of
I
years
feel like
then.
it depends also on how old you are. Like,
Yeah.
if somebody was married and they were widowed at 40, and
Mhm.
then when they were 60 years old, they found somebody that was 75, I think you'd be like, okay.
Who
like,
cares?
that's not
Right.
Weird.
No,
You
that's
know, like,
true.
I don't know. But
Yep.
yeah. But if you're younger, I feel like the older you get, the bigger age gap you can
Because
have.
it's a relative difference. Like 10% at 70 is 7
Yeah.
years.
And like both of you need to be in the same, like you either need to be like
mindset.
younger or middle aged or older. And
Right.
It's when you're
you know.
skipping 3 generations in a couple that's
Oh, but I mean, that would be her grandfather. It's not even,
Yeah.
oh, it's like your father's age. That's,
No.
Yeah.
and I think too, you think about it, let's say you take a 25-year-old and put them with them and they marry a 50-year-old. In 20 years, you're going to be still 45 and they're going to be, they're just going to be,
They're elderly.
Yeah.
they're going to be dead.
They're going to be tired.
Well, it's like that Friends and Neighbors that John Hamm is in. His first first episode, he does this whole thing because this woman is hitting on him at a bar, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm divorced. Yeah, I've got money. Yeah, you think you're going to get this, but then by the time we split everything with my spouse, I'm going to be back down to where you're not going to be happy. And then let's say everything does work out, and we're just madly in love, and in 20 years, my prostate's going to give out."
I mean,
There you go. Well,
and all that comes with that,
Yeah.
and you're going to be
So
still 40
exciting.
years old.
just telling the
be
truth.
real.
That's all it
Well,
was.
that's the other thing. It's like they say that, obviously the reason an older man would want a younger woman is because think of all the stuff they can do in bed or whatever. But it's like, I mean, when you're probably going to get like, okay, lady, just calm down. I just want to watch my stories.
Yeah, that's
know.
exactly like, I don't know. You think about these old men and you're like, what?
How much energy could you have?
Yeah,
at
like,
that age?
you're just going to lay there and they're going to be twirling around.
right.
Like, like,
Well, no, Viagra has changed everything for the gold diggers. They
Yeah,
used
that's
to
true.
be able to like kind
But
of be
even-
guaranteed that they wouldn't have to perform in that area when guys were when
even
they were
so,
marrying
it's
old
like,
men for their money. But no,
you still have like a bad hip. And
Yeah,
like,
Viagra's not going to stop your
like,
heart from going out.
Yeah, like you get low energy.
I don't know if you listen to any of the girlfriends of Hugh Hefner, it was miserable, and
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
miserable. And they, I think that they got caught up into a world, and then once they were there, they're like, "This is not great at all."
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break in a second, but I want to ask you something before we go so you can think about it. I just realized, and I don't hear about this very much, but when I was like 23 years old, I dated 2 women who were older than me. They were 25 and 26. Is that unusual?
Mom's
that's not
parents,
that much
your
different.
mom was older than your dad.
No.
Yeah, my mom.
It happens.
Yeah, Dan's mom was older than
It's probably
her dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a few years doesn't make any.
it's probably like
difference.
10,
For me.
20% of all couples. So it's not common, but it's not rare.
I was
guess.
older than my first boyfriend.
There you go. See, there
See?
you have it.
There we have it.
All right, we'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to well, I always do that. You want to promote Kristen Bird. I don't know if you know that.
God,
You could pay attention,
Andy
maybe.
got too excited.
He got way too excited talking about older women. Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Be right back in 2 minutes. From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Allie?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands free, but you can't have your phone in your hand for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget. And now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB, something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
What do you think of that action? Let's talk about my bank. That'd be North American Banking Company. Look, it's easy to feel like just another account at the big national banks, but that's not how it works with my friends at North American Banking Company. Whether you're visiting their locations in Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, or Maple Grove, you'll always find real people who know you by name and they care about your finances, not some AI chat bot. They also offer all the modern conveniences you expect, like online and mobile banking, but with a personal touch that only a community bank can offer. So I settle for less when you can bank with my friends at North American Banking Company. Visit nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. I love that droney music he plays when I have to go. Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. And you have that droning music. Oh, there's a kitty.
This is my never before seen other kitty, Linus.
Yeah.
Linus.
Yes.
Oh, looks like Munchie.
Boy kitty.
Doesn't
Yeah,
look
he's
like
so
much.
sweet.
Old
He's so
cat.
sweet.
Oh, they're doing the not salute, but other than that,
No.
Get that paw down before you get
Stop
accused of
it.
something.
Stop it.
Oh dear.
What's
He's a
the kitty's
big
name?
boy, not the little tiny one like London.
What's the kitty's name?
He's Linus.
Linus.
Yeah, they're from the
Okay.
same litter, so they're very hard to
Oh.
tell apart, honestly.
Oh, funny.
Oh, Alex has,
Except that he's huge.
Alex has something to say about her boyfriends. What?
Oh yeah, we were at a dance competition all weekend,
Oh,
and Fawn had a small group that she does with the older girls, and so we had to go on the. Sorry, my cord is stuck. On the day that we don't usually go, where the teens and the seniors were dancing, and it's so funny because there were all these boyfriends sitting in the audience of all the
Oh,
teen and senior dancers.
yeah.
And then she saw some of the girls at our studio like hanging out with their boyfriends. And Fawn was like, why are all these boyfriends here? Why do people have boyfriends in high school? And I'm like, I had a boyfriend in high school. And she was like, what? I was like, I had 2 boyfriends in high school. Like not at the same time, but like I had, and she was just like absolutely shocked. That I
how
had
dare you?
Yeah, I know. She was just like, had no idea that I could have ever dated anyone before Dan. And I'm like, yeah, that's like what happens.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
People have boyfriends in high school and then you like usually break up because you go off to college or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what happens. But she was just really like, why are all these boyfriends here? This is irritating to me.
Yeah, well, give her a few years.
Yeah, I was guess I was different because I never did have a girlfriend in high school. I think my first girlfriend, I was like, Jesus, I might have been 21, 20. I know I was at least 20. I might have been 21. I never had a girlfriend
Well, you
when I
just
was in
did. You
teen.
have a lot going on.
Oh, we had a lot. Oh, yeah. People
It was
hauled
busy
away.
at home.
People hauled away in straight jackets.
Yeah,
and
you had a
going to
lot
visit the
going
nut
on.
house. Yeah, there was a lot going
with the
on.
Sigma grind set. That's what it was.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go. That's exactly
Absolutely.
right. Well, it's a good thing. People dating, having a good time, and I like that.
Oh, so we
Keep
were
it age
out.
appropriate.
Yeah.
We were
Yes,
we were
right.
out to dinner with some people in our building, and one of the waitresses comes by, and she's Irish, and the guy we were with, Arnie, says, "Oh, I've been watching that show that you mentioned. It's an Irish show. What's it called, Mr. Something Boys?
That's Pat,
Mr. Pat's Boys. Have you ever heard of this?
Ms. Pat's Boys.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's the woman.
Yeah.
Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Mrs. Brown's
Brown's
Boys. There you go.
Boys. It
Close
is.
enough, though.
It is. It's been on for a while.
God, it's 13 years.
It has that kind of Monty Python sort of
It does.
sense of humor. I don't.
It's on BritBox. So if people
BritBox.
don't
Yes.
have BritBox, they're not going to be familiar
It's on
with it.
BritBox.
We were laughing so hard.
It was phenomenal.
It's kind of
but
like a Mrs. Doubtfire and Louis Anderson's character
Yes.
from Baskets.
one warning: do not watch it with the children because she drops the F-bomb about every other word.
Well, in a heavy Irish accent, so you can't really understand.
Well,
You're
that's
like,
true.
"Oh, is that?"
That's true.
Mom,
Yeah.
what does
It's
that mean?
Yeah.
What?
yeah, feck.
Yeah, feck.
Feck. That's what
And
it
I
is.
think. Well, we had the closed caption on because sometimes with the Irish
you have
accent,
to.
it's like, what are they saying? They
Yeah.
kept on saying bunkin instead of
Bunkin.
F and
Huh.
it said
Well, that's like
bucket or
Yeah,
something
bucking.
like that.
It was bucking.
And I don't know if the closed caption doesn't swear like on purpose if they
I wonder.
replace it. I don't know.
maybe they
Oh, they
don't know
said
what they're
somebody else.
saying.
Or maybe the accent just sounds like bucking.
It could be.
It was really good. Honest to God, it's a really,
very
really funny
funny.
show. No question. His name is Ernie, by the way, not Arnie.
Oh, Ernie, sorry.
Ernie. Ernie, by the way, we're at dinner with Ernie and his lovely wife.
Karen.
Karen's a very nice person. He reveals to us at dinner that he has not 1, not 2, not 3, but 11 degrees.
Sure.
Yeah, he's a lawyer and
11.
a doctor and an engineer, and I'm like,
What?
Is
And
he in
she's
school
got-
right now?
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
It's like,
70
did you
years
just
old.
get out?
Good. He's
school?
got 11 degrees.
And she has 4 or 6 or something
Yeah,
like
she has
that.
4 or 6.
What are their
Who are you
student
talking
loans
about?
like?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, I think they've done pretty well. They don't have
Who are
any
you talking
loans.
about?
They don't.
What?
Some guy.
Neighbors from our building.
Yeah, they invited us
Oh.
out to dinner, and
Really
we were
nice
like,
people.
"That's a lot of degrees."
There's a lot of people who go into academia and just never leave.
Yeah, because they were
Mhm.
like, I'm good at it and I like it.
Yep, they'll just keep on taking
And it's like
classes,
they
and
pay hundreds of thousands of dollars.
then a lot of those people end up becoming
Well-
college professors.
But
Back when he was in school, it was
Yeah.
not that expensive.
I will tell you this also. They're very, very wealthy because all he does now is he appears in court as a special witness because he has
Oh.
11 different degrees. So he knows about everything.
He's a SME, subject matter expert.
Yeah,
Yep.
he is. Yep.
You're right.
Yeah, no question about it. Just really, really nice people. Very nice from Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
hmm
Yeah, we had a really, really good time. Nice, very, very smart people, both of them.
One story that Karen said, and Alex, I know that you were like anti-plastics and try not to use plastics and blah blah
Oh,
blah.
God.
She said that a friend of theirs is a thoracic surgeon, I think he was, and he opened up somebody's vein in his neck and scooped out like a tablespoon of microplastics.
Oh,
Ew.
that's not good.
How is that a thing?
What were they
think it
doing? Like,
is.
what? How would that get lodged there?
Yeah,
I don't know.
You apparently we eat a lot of plastic.
It's
we
in
don't know
everything,
about.
apparently.
It's in everything now.
But it gets. I mean, like,
I mean, are you downing? That makes me think that you're downing like 10 bottles of plastic of
Well,
water a day. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah,
what,
maybe, yeah.
what Karen said was that when plastic heats up, that's the biggest problem. But you don't know. Like if somebody offers you a bottle of water and it's from the refrigerator and it's cold, and you think, okay, it's cold plastic, it's okay. You don't know how that thing was stored or shipped or anything. It might have been heated up a ton of times before it got to the store. And I was just thinking, oh my God, everything in the world is full of plastic.
Yeah.
It's disgusting too when you
It-
really think about it.
Yes, it is.
And I don't know how to get away from that because it's so convenient. It's lightweight.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
can make
that's the
anything.
problem.
You know,
packaging is the number one issue. There's really
it's
no
like-
way without basically
Yeah.
just making everything 10 times more expensive to ship.
But what was the one thing that you can do is like peanut butter apparently is made, hot and it goes into the plastic container. So definitely get jars.
We do.
Get glass
Not plastic
jars.
one.
Of
I don't like peanut butter, so I'm all set.
Oh, there you
how
go.
do you not like peanut butter? What's wrong?
Do
with
you like almond butter?
Yeah.
I don't really like the consistency of like the
Any
nut
butters?
butters.
Oh,
Not even
okay.
chunky. Nippy, chunky.
I
Phenomenal.
don't like the smell of peanut butter. It's a weird
Oh
smell.
my
But
God,
I tried
get
like thinking
out.
like, oh, I could do like a sunflower butter or cashew butter, but I'm like, it's just like a paste to me.
Oh,
Swear to
okay.
God, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I could eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all 3 meals.
Well, just don't eat it out of plastic anymore.
They want to have to get. I agree with you. You can't
Down
buy
with you.
plastic stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I love the 7-ounce Coke bottle, so that works. That's a glass bottle.
Yeah, Mexican Coke is fantastic.
Mexican Coke, wonderful.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Anytime anybody ever says Mexican Coke, I think of that Vegas story with Mike Molina.
Yep.
Tom,
Kristen, you know that story, don't you?
Mm-mm.
Mike.
Alex knows. it.
Mike Molina worked with us on the podcast, and he also worked at KQ, didn't he?
Yep.
Many years ago.
Yes, he did.
And you knew him, and he came
Yep.
out to Vegas with us for one of the KQ trips.
He's
And
about 6'3", weighs about 280. Gigantic, broad-shouldered
and
man.
somehow the Mexican Coke bottle came up, and Mike said he would go get some. He would go find some for Tom.
Mhm. In Las Vegas.
And he goes to some store and says, "Hey, you know where I can get some Mexican Coke?" And he's brought into like some scary, dark back room to buy Mexican
Mexican
Coke.
Yep.
Fantastic.
And he's like, whoa.
Not that Mexican Coke.
Swear to God, he came
You're like, I
back
wanted
with
to go to
his-
Costco actually to buy Mexican Coke, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
He comes back, his eyes are the size of saucers. He's pale. He's like, I don't know. I hope I haven't been followed.
Amazing.
You're like, no
Mexican Coke.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, so watch out for
But in reality, in the bottle version, the actual cola, Mexican Coke is better than American
that's
Coca-Cola.
because it's real sugar.
It's
It's
real
cane
sugar.
sugar.
Yep.
And it's also
Really?
HON Mexico.
There you go. What do you
It's
think of
easy
that,
to
Mac?
find. I don't here in California. Is it easy for you guys to find?
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
They have it in
Our
Costco.
teeny- our little tiny town, our grocery store has glass bottles of Coke in it.
That's great.
Really?
They have Mexican Coke?
Well, I remember after
Oh.
that happened for a long time, Dad, anytime you tried to order it somewhere, you said Coca-Cola of Mexico.
Coca-Cola.
I did. You're absolutely. I did. I'd like a
Yes.
Coca-Cola of Mexico,
Yes, be
please.
specific.
Like I'm not looking for snow.
No,
Thank you so
don't
much.
need blow. Thank you.
That city was like a narc officer's dream or something. Just go into a random store. Got any cocaine? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a
Here's
little
the
odd.
cocaine aisle right here. And
Yes.
oh, is
Just
that a
little
badge?
odd. I do miss doing those Las Vegas shows. We went to Vegas how many years in a row? Oh my God, it was
God, like
tons,
10 at
tons,
least.
at
Yeah.
least 10 years in a row.
Mhm.
Then we
I went
started
to-
going to Key West for a couple of years. That was good.
Yeah,
too.
I went to one Key West show and one Vegas show many years
yep.
apart. 20 years apart, I think.
Yeah.
Vegas right now, I hear, is a ghost town.
Is it really?
Mhm.
Why?
Why?
See some shit.
I think that the downturn in the economy is probably the first of
Yeah.
it, but I think also the casinos started charging for everything. So like parking now is no longer
Oh.
free. It's $45 a day, and so
Ah, I
Oh.
by
hate
nickel
that.
and diming, the resort fees, all of the thing that people are just like, for a weekend of fun, I can go so many other places. And a lot of the visitors to Las Vegas are from California. So we can go
Oh.
up and down the coast and not deal with all of these like crazy fees. And then internationally, travel has fallen off a cliff big
Well,
time.
it's
And
so expensive. My God.
expensive. People are getting, who knows what they're, reading and hearing in terms of like
Right.
when they come in through customs, people are getting nervous about that. So people are seeing a huge downturn, and they're saying convention traffic is already off, which is a big sign that things are not going to go well. in the
Not
next
down
year.
at the Breakers. They've got big
Mhm.
pharma over there, and
Oh,
they're taking
yeah.
over the whole
Oh,
hotel and all the grounds for over a week, I think.
They took over the member parking lot. You can't
Oh my
even park your
gosh.
car, even if you're a member at the hotel.
Well, big pharma has
Unbelievable.
plenty of money.
They got a lot of money.
They do have a lot of money.
They have so much
No
money.
question about that. We only
Yeah.
have you for 2 more minutes. Your segment goes by too quickly. It's too much.
Well, we had to talk about Bill Belichick. That took up a lot.
Well, we
Oh,
did, yes.
God.
I don't understand well, I understand her. So do you think it's obvious she's in it for the money? I would guess.
Well, come on. What
Yeah,
else?
I guess the control thing is very strange to me. And there's another
Yeah.
aspect to it. Like she's now being CC'd on all of his emails, business and personal.
Oh,
been-
that's
And she's also now somehow like a producer on his documentary, which originally was going to be produced by NFL for their
Mhm.
network. And now they've backed off from it. And now she's producing, and they're working with an independent film company. And the whole thing just it's just not passing the smell test to me. And I'm like,
Mhm.
until someone convinces me otherwise, I feel like there's some weird coercion going on here.
And he's got kids, right?
Does. And that's why everyone's like, we want to hear from the kids. Like, how are you
Oh,
feeling about all
God.
this?
Yeah,
But sometimes taking it public makes things worse. So we all know that. And that,
that's true.
it'll seclude him even more.
Mm.
That's got to be a tough row to hoe right there.
But they're not married, so
No, but they are
Yeah.
50 years apart in age. That's a long time.
I mean, in order for her to get any control of anything, he'd have to sign over power of attorney. So
Yeah.
they should
No,
be.
you can just
Let me
do
tell
it.
you, it happens.
Yeah.
When I can talk, I'll tell you all about it.
Oh, yes.
People outside your family,
Yep.
and it happens, and trying to set
Yeah,
everything straight costs a lot of money.
it does. You're right.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'd prefer having her husband, but I guess Kristen Burt being on is okay for now. Honestly, Kristen, he was a big hit. He's very good.
Big hit.
Yeah, I got a lot of emails and some comments, so it was
Oh,
great.
did you?
Oh,
Yeah, I
good.
was
No, I'm
forwarding
glad
one
to
to
hear
him. So
that.
yeah.
What a nice man. No question about it. So we will talk to you tomorrow.
Yes,
I'm
see you
assuming.
tomorrow.
Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Sandy, Bob Sansevier, I think he's older than his wife too. Not that much though. Not 50 years.
I don't know.
He'll probably know more about this whole Bill Belichick story than everybody else.
Oh yeah, I would think
We'll
so.
be right back with Sandy right after this. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser. Let us talk about my bank. That'd be North American Banking Company. Michael Bilski. Look, it's easy to feel like just another account number at the big national banks, but that's not how it works with my friends at North American Banking Company. Whether you're visiting their locations in Roseville, 50th and France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, or Maple Grove, you'll always find real people who know you by name and actually care about your finances, not some AI chatbot. They also offer all the modern conveniences you expect, like online and mobile banking, but with a personal touch that only a community bank can offer. So why settle for less when you can bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Visit nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. The following is brought to you by Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw & Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Sandy with us now. What's happening? Sandy, you're older than your wife, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't go 10 years, 9 years and 10 months.
9 years and 10 months.
Oh, you just reached the cutoff. 10 years and it's creepy.
There you go. We were just talking a lot about this, and Bob, I'm sure you know more about this than anybody. Belichick's girlfriend is 51 years younger than he or something like that.
Yeah, when you start doing the math, what is he? He's 75?
73, I think. I thought he was older than that.
Kristen said he was 73.
I thought he was older.
She looked it up.
No, he's 73. She's 24.
She's 24.
He was already the coach of the Patriots when she was in diapers, right? Yeah. Was she even born yet? I mean, I got to go back and see how long he was coach.
That's why.
I mean, that one is a stunner. You know,
it's gross.
Couldn't find someone 25.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's exactly right. 24 years old.
Well, I mean, we've all heard all the stories of, guys that are they're in their offices, they're getting closer to retirement, and these women are just like, hey, I'm going to get him. I'm going to take him away from his wife. I'm going to break up their marriage. I'm going to get him. Because he's got all kinds of money.
These young what? These young chippies?
Chippies. They'll do anything for that Birkin bag, It's just sad.
I mean, the Vikings.
There's the much younger Mary with us now.
It's only 9 years and 10 months.
Yeah, right? Even Tom, you're 7 years older than me, which does not sound like much, but the stuff that you watch.
That's
Alfred Hitchcock nonstop.
Also,
Alfred Hitchcock and the Twilight Zone. That's about it.
I would never watch any of those things, but you watch them nonstop.
I love them.
And you are definitely a bit from a different era.
Oh, definitely. There's no question.
Definitely. And that's 7 years. So
he was too young for Alfred Hitchcock Presents, because it started in 1955 and it only went on for 7 years.
Yeah, so by the time I was 9 years old, it was over.
He is watching something technically before his time.
See,
So, I mean,
Almost every episode has something to do with murdering a cheating spouse or murdering somebody for money. I'm like,
There's a lot.
maybe I should stop watching this before I get murdered.
Catherine, I gotta
Get any
ask you.
bright ideas.
Will you watch a black and white movie?
Sure, absolutely.
Well, I know someone who doesn't.
oh, I wonder who that could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, who is that?
Why do you look so tiny today? You look
He does look tiny.
you look like you're one of the little munchkins.
I
does
shriveled
look
up in the
tiny.
rain. I don't know. There, is that better?
Oh.
It's all true.
It was
There.
pouring rain today, and apparently we might get tornadoes and hail and wind.
yep.
Yeah,
Later.
that's just great when
So-
you've got a whole barn full of horses.
Yes,
Mhm.
Yeah.
we're setting up like 40 stalls and bringing all the horses in that, and I have a few that don't like being stalled at all.
Oh,
One of my
Mhm.
son's horses, he's broken 3 stall doors, and
oh,
other than that, he's amazing.
Just
He
put them all in
makes
the
me-
arena.
Well, that's
and
what I'm
with
gonna
all
do.
hay.
The ones that don't like to be stalled, I'll keep them in the indoor arena and give them hay and water and stuff. But the U of M put out this thing this morning, so all my barn kids are in a panic because it basically says you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, because it says, well, if you bring your horses in, they're safe from flying debris and hail
Right.
and everything else.
Yeah.
But then in the next sentence it says, but if you bring your horses in, they could be at risk because they're trapped in a building.
Yeah, but you know what? It's easy to get
Yeah.
out of an arena with no trouble. You just crack
Yeah,
the door.
I mean,
don't you have a smart barn where you could just open up the gates with your cell phone?
Yeah.
I wish.
yeah, the smart barn's name is Bob and Spencer.
Right? What? You'll be like cowering in the house.
Yeah, they'll be
Yeah.
tying a rope
And-
around Bob's waist.
Now, let me ask all of you, Thomas, did you ever have? Now, if you take a look at my nose, Mary hit me with a 2x4.
I did
No.
not.
That's the story I'm
not.
going with.
Wow, that's a huge accusation there.
I
I,
want
uh,
to hear the story. Why don't you tell it, Bob, and then I'll tell my version.
All right, my son, I was parking our trailer because we were at the expo, and my daughter and I stayed at the expo because we had to be there all day for the Buffalo Rodeo. We were promoting it. But anyway, I'm pulling it in, and my son had this thing he made. It's huge. It's a big barrel that you throw hay in, and it chops the hay, which is nice. I mean, when he was in high school,
Like
he was gonna,
alfalfa,
have a
like
little
I have
business.
older
Oh,
horses that
yeah.
need soaked,
but
Nice.
both wheels on it are flat. So I'm trying to push it. I was able to push it and shove it. Then I was going with the other side to pull it. And I have no idea why he would have ever put a bale of, hay twine, which by the way is the most indestructible thing ever made.
Yes,
Sure
it
is.
absolutely
Yeah.
is.
So my foot, what's that?
What is it about it that makes it so indestructible? Crazy.
I don't know, but it's incredible. But my foot got caught and I didn't even
Ooh.
get my hand
Oh.
out like an alligator. I went and all I heard was crunching of my nose. I actually heard the crunching.
Oh,
So I did
wow.
do this and nothing feels broken. And it's not that sore, but it did leave me with like this from the top to my nose is much bigger. Imagine
Is it?
that than it was. But
So
it was flat. I landed right on my nose.
I'm
with
trying to look
nothing
at your
else
nose.
breaking it.
Can't see
So-
anything on camera.
Here's my version. He's pretty accurate, but I got to see it happen. And he actually
That's nice.
he went down like a dolphin or a whale coming out of the ocean and flopping onto the beach with no arms. Like he didn't even attempt. He just face planted, and then I was
To protect
okay.
my shoulder, which I heard anyway again.
Yes, but he had his arms at his sides, and he just flopped like a fish to the ground, and his nose broke his fall. And I was holding it together, and I was being
Ouch.
kind.
Okay,
I was like saying,
now-
"You okay?" And can I help? Can I do anything? And then Spencer comes around the other side of the trailer, and we made eye contact.
Okay, he's 20. He's our 23-year-old son, and
my
I
God.
have either of you ever said, and they could be here to attest to your children, "F you." I said it to him because he's laughing hysterically. I said, "F you, Spencer."
Probably
And
not.
I've never cursed that
Thinking
at
not.
one of my children like that before.
Well,
Tempted,
hitting your
but
nose
never did.
hurts. Hitting your nose hurts a
It
lot.
was the nose that was talking.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
understand that. No question about
But
it.
anyway.
But
we
I mean,
almost-
at least try. You only have one bad arm.
Well, I thought we were going to lose Tom last night too. He decided to choke on some rice.
Oh no!
Right.
I cannot eat rice too quickly or it stops right here in the middle of my chest. and I literally have to go cough it up.
Mm.
I don't throw up, but I have to cough it up.
Tom, if you're gonna go like that, make it a big hunk of steak so that it's the biggest hunk of steak he's ever had. He thought he could handle it. Not
I
a
believe
Yeah,
piece
and
of
Could
steak.
be.
it's very worrisome because I don't think that I could give you the Heimlich maneuver.
Probably not.
I mean, I couldn't not lift you up and do that.
No.
There's just
Okay,
I would
get him on
try.
the ground. What's your vertical? Can you jump the height of his chest? Jump up and just
No.
land on his chest.
Up on pop.
If he was laying on
That's
the
fine.
ground, I could do that. But
That's what I'm
It's
saying. Knock him
fine.
down and hop on his chest.
okay,
couple of times.
I'll knock him down. That'll be easy too.
Well,
Knocking
technically,
me
if it's
down.
sticking here, that's your esophagus.
Yeah.
You can't actually choke.
It is.
You
No,
can't?
I can't choke from it. No,
It
it's
hurts
just
a lot and it's very
Yeah.
unpleasant, but you're not
Yep.
going to stop breathing.
Oh,
that's
okay.
exactly right.
Well, then I won't care next time.
You may have just come up with a great multi-billion-dollar company just now.
Okay.
What about there are women who are very petite like you and you can't get your arms around your husband?
No.
Or if you got a stout kid, they should
Mhm.
make something so that you could use them as extra arms, like the
That's true.
extender seatbelt on a plane.
See,
They
Hmm.
do have that sort of thing. Heimlich helper.
They do?
The Heimlich helper. Yeah,
There's
probably
Damn
on
it.
Amazon. It's probably on
there's
Amazon.
something called a de-choker where
Mary, you got a tail on the back of your head.
you
I
do. You
know.
have a
He
tail on
thinks-
the back.
He thinks
of
I
your
want
head.
to play because I
Hilarious.
have my happy voice on.
Well, they have the life vac. It's like a thing that you put on their mouth.
yeah,
just
and it
suck it
Oh, it
suctions.
sucks it out.
Oh.
I
One of
understand
those.
it's very unpleasant, but it's
But you
better
have to
than
carry it
diet.
around. I mean, do you
I
carry it
have
around with
it,
you?
I have it in our bedroom
What?
because I wanted to get that in case someone got sick, but I'd have to remember it if they did need the Heimlich that I have it. And then I'd
Yeah.
have to read the instructions to use it right. And by then, they'd be passed out on the floor.
Yeah,
Well,
these are
yeah.
one of the things.
I
Hold
would
But I
on a
meant
imagine.
something that will do the whole compression part.
That's so funny that you said that because after Tom was choking and
Did you pat him on the back? What did you do?
Well, no, he just
I
left.
got up.
He just went to the bathroom and I'm like, well, because you've done this before.
Well, it's not that I choke either. It's just I can't swallow.
Yeah.
But he said I'm okay. He talked. So I know if
Okay.
they talk,
Right.
then
Yep.
they're all right. But then I had a
Right.
dream
Oh gosh.
about
That you were choking me.
no, I had a dream because Alex, I remember you made us take a CPR for children class after
Mhm.
you had Fawn.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, because I was
I
like,
remember thinking, God, that's a long. So this dream was
Catherine said that so fondly, the memory.
I know she was so
Yeah.
thrilled.
yeah.
There you go.
Somehow I raised 2 children without killing them. So it was.
I took it with you. I wasn't like, you need to go do this. I was like, let's all take this because if you're going to be taking care of my child when they're learning to eat,
Right.
Well, that's
that
great.
thing
Right.
to be able to do.
We took CPR classes
Yeah.
when Ethan was born.
Yeah, that's a normal thing
Yeah.
to
Well,
do.
this-
Mom.
okay.
Please.
Thank you for the tip. Because when our children start having children, I can't make that thing. They won't never leave the kids. I'm good with that.
Well,
They can come with them.
the dream was not that anybody was actually choking, but I was worried about not remembering how to do it on a child. So I was thinking, if some kid chokes, you're going to be going, "Hey Siri, show me a video on how to do."
Yes.
And then Siri's going to, do something completely stupid, like give you directions to Chicago.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're going to have to type it all in. And then by the time you finally get something, the kid's probably,
I know
not doing
sometimes I
well.
have thoughts like that. It's like, okay, what if there's an emergency and I have to find a hospital, but touch typing is so shitty.
yeah.
It's going to take me 15 minutes to type hospital into Google Maps. And by then everyone's going to be
Yeah.
dead.
I know. I actually was talking to one of the teachers at school last week about this. I was like, since I work in preschool and I work in 2nd grade and I work in 3rd grade, I should maybe take another CPR class.
Yeah. It probably wouldn't be a big deal. I'm surprised they don't just do a refresher every fall.
Well, you have to do whatever. Yeah, there's somebody coming in like late August or something for the staff, and it's
Okay.
an optional thing. And I was like, I should probably do that because it's been a while since
It
I've.
should not be optional, actually. That should be mandatory.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's mandatory for the teachers, but then the other staff, it's optional.
See, that's a mistake. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm going to talk to some on the school board in Buffalo. And
Mhm.
what if like, for instance, what if you are a substitute teacher in, say, a
Right.
class where you have an ESP
Yeah.
and neither one of you have the training?
Right.
I mean,
Right,
the
yeah.
sub doesn't have it. You got to go running around looking for a teacher that has it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's true.
That would make sense. All right, Sandy, I just received a message more than, I guess, a few messages. Are we still planning on writing the book starting in May? Or no, June? Or
Tom, I would do it a year whenever you say. But
I'll be back though then. June,
can I
June, July,
explain
August,
the way
September,
that I think we should do it and let people weigh in?
Mm-hmm.
I think it needs to be done a chapter a week on the show.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then transcribe it so that people can then listen to the audio and also have the transcription.
So there's no reason to put a book out.
Well, the transcription becomes the book.
Yeah, it'd be like a chapter by chapter release kind of thing.
I mean, at the end of it, you could
compile
it into a book. But I mean, Tom, honestly,
what keeps somebody from just stealing this transcription?
Yeah.
You make them pay for it.
Well, but I mean, they could just transcribe it themselves, right? If he's already said it.
They want to transcribe, go ahead.
If someone really wants to, but yeah, I mean.
But also, it would be part of the show or separate from the show, and they can listen to it live, but to listen to it after it's live, they have to pay to listen to it.
Yeah, there you go.
You're not going to gouge people, but I mean,
$10,000 to listen to my stories.
And okay, so here's the key, and all of you decide, what should the first chapter be? Should you actually go to those final days at the queue? Because they must have been lively.
Oh yeah, they were.
No.
You go all the way back to where it all began.
Yeah.
No, you'll get to that in chapter 2. People want to juice first.
I don't think you want to go to the end because that's a lot of people still are like, what happened? I mean, Tom's talked about it a lot.
Well, it's because they lied and said I retired. That's why that got so bad. Because they lied and said, he retired. You fired me, you lion sack.
Yeah, and the fact that corporate politics was really it was a slow death after a huge corporation.
Save this for the book.
Okay, yeah, we'll save it for the book. And then the other thing, Bob, I've been receiving messages, and I have no idea how you do this or where you do it or whatever. They want to know why my show is not on the same stations that you're on. But I don't even know what stations you're on, and I don't know when you're on.
Well, I told you, let me know when you want. I mean, I didn't want to start just send stuff. Just let me know when you want to talk to those people, and
I mean, you think
I should?
though,
here's the one, and this is what I have learned. Now, you were on radio before.
Yeah.
How many stations were you on with your show, the podcast? Do you remember?
This podcast, I think we were at 3.
Yeah, 3 or something like that.
Well, here's what I have learned. Because the Jim Bob Sports Jam that I do with Chuck Foreman and Jim Rich, we're on like 20 stations.
Right.
For some reason, there's like a mentality with these program directors. And I have offered all of them the entire show, and I have like half a dozen that have it, the BS show.
Right.
But they think they have to take every single day. I told them, if you have an opening on any day, I'll send you that day.
Yeah.
You don't have to run it every single day of the week. And that's the biggest thing I found to overcome. Because they know it's a daily show. Well, I can't take it daily. Yeah. But even though they might have an opening, they don't take it,
I know you think it's like an episodic sitcom or something where it's like, if you missed yesterday's show, you're not going to want to listen to it.
Yeah, we're not building on anything.
Not how it works.
Well, if you want to ask them if they're interested, I could figure out how to do it. And if they're not interested, I understand.
Well, you already have a relationship with, I can call this, you were on the station in St. Cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Duluth, too. Duluth, we were on in Duluth.
Mm-hmm.
And Duluth, yeah. I mean, I think I'm on the same network that you were on in Duluth.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, I could talk to. They're all great guys to deal with.
I could see, yeah. Because what I'd like to do, if I end up doing that, maybe we'd figure out your schedule and our schedule, and we could do some live shows from there.
That'd be fun.
Going on tour is fun.
Would be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun, no question. Why do we even stop doing it? Did I get fired?
No,
again?
It was a lot of. I mean,
it was a lot of work, and they weren't paying anything.
I had to go through every single episode and edit out every swear word.
Oh,
and every commercial, and
the way I do it, and I've explained this, I think before. I told them I don't, because they don't have, a lot of these stations don't have money. These stations.
Right.
You say, I'm going to give you my show in 4 segments or 3 segments, but you have to leave in my commercials. Leave them, like, as an example, my show, and this is a lot of inside talk for the listeners, but my show is 46 minutes, and the radio stations then have 14 minutes at the top and the bottom or wherever to put in their own
Wherever.
stuff.
Yeah, it's a
The
good
news,
idea.
Whether their own commercials, whatever they
Yep.
have.
Yep.
And the Jim Bob is actually 52, but they have 8 minutes then to do it. So just give them your show. They're not going to want it more than an hour. They're going to want it a little bit less.
No, I understand that.
You know,
Yeah.
but you can edit it down.
Do they censor it, or do you censor it, or do you just make sure not to swear?
I occasionally have to take out a choice word or two from Gelfand.
There's a shock. There's a shock.
Usually it's
Gelfand
not too
upset the
bad,
apple
it's
cart.
not too bad, but I keep a running tally because you two have a clock. I just mark down the time of when I have to take out.
Oh, yeah, I can put
And
markers
I
in
rarely
there.
have to.
The real problem is that when we were doing it, we were having comedians in every Friday.
Oh,
So
God.
Yeah.
comedian episodes, sometimes it would literally be like
The whole show.
20, 30 censor beeps in an hour show. It
Beep,
just
beep,
sounds
beep,
horrible.
beep.
But you just have to sell them. This is on radio. You can't be, going off
Yeah.
on a binge because they do radio
Yeah.
all the time and they keep it clean when they
That's
have
true.
to.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if you think it's a good idea because a lot of people want me to do it, but I never, I haven't thought about that in years.
Why okay, can I be Mary gets upset with me when I'm blunt.
Oh my
But-
God.
Blunt.
But,
He's
but I mean,
incredibly blunt.
KSTP should have your show on at some point in the day, even if they run it at night, whenever
You mean
they
on the AM?
the AM station, yeah, or one of the other ones.
they'd probably do that. Yeah.
But I mean, you should be on their lineup because they do have. Well, Judd and they've got and Souchere. Souchere isn't on at all on the radio, but the show
not
that
anymore.
Judd does with Mackey, they have that run for a while in the afternoon.
No, they do. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and frankly, I would be surprised. KSTP, if you talk to them, they've got several affiliates around the state,
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
and they should just put you on all the affiliates too.
Maybe I'll just I'll call Michael Bryant and ask him to talk to all these people because he's much better at that than I am.
Well, there
If
you
you know what I
go.
mean. All right, we should
Well,
probably.
I mean, I obviously because I talk to Mike a lot too. I'll be happy to give any one of you, who I deal with.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I mean, but they run your. It's good. It'd be good for the advertisers because my advertisers are statewide anyway.
Mhm.
The Michael Bryant works. He actually works a
Absolutely.
lot in St. Cloud and Duluth and all those places you talk about. And then you got 6 banks now with Bilski, and I mean, a lot of this stuff it goes statewide.
Well, I mean, who mentioned because he brings it up, Steve Hukowski, Sabre,
Sure.
Plumbing,
Great
Heating,
guy.
and Air. He is like a mini celebrity in Duluth because we talk about auto racing, which he does.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
A lot of
His
guys
son, his
from
son
Duluth
is
are
really good
great.
at it, right?
So they're
Yeah,
always
he's-
coming up to say, "Hey, I heard you talking about racing," and he also, I mean, he was selling. He does a lot of new construction, and he has a lot of heaters that he brings,
Mhm.
big ones.
Yeah.
And he had a bunch he was selling, so we advertised, we threw it in the show. They were gone in like a day, and a
Yeah,
lot of
see, that'd be
people that
great.
heard it. These are really nice heaters. We have
Well-
2 that would be up already in our barn if we hadn't had that storm hit us a year and a half ago.
I could mention this to you. I won't say what the company is, but it's a big, big boat company, and they're looking for some place to put their commercials now too because they can't stand where they are now.
Well, then why
So-
aren't they with you?
Well, I'm gonna have to get a salesperson or something, I guess, because I can't do it.
Yeah, you got to find somebody to do sales for you.
Yeah, I'll have to. So who does your sales?
Me.
Bob.
I'm not hiring Bob. Forget it.
Yeah, he'll just take all the business.
Yeah, I'll take all the business. I'll end up with. Oh,
You
look,
know-
here's a
Well, if you
nickel.
want to
Tom.
go on Tom's show too,
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
His show's okay, but mine is so much better.
All right, we'll take a break here. But I just want to mention that
Okay.
because people ask me,
You
why
just-
aren't you on with Sandy? I'm like,
you just said this. You've got a lot of people who are in the business and are salespeople that will probably be reaching out to you.
Well,
Good.
yeah, if they want to, that'd be great. We could
And
set
you know
something
so
up.
many of them. What you
life
should
would be
do
good.
is here's my suggestion. I got to tell you something that I
geez.
did at the expo with someone. But my suggestion is call whoever you liked at the queue that retired from sales because they're always
That's
they're
not a
probably
bad idea.
enough to do it. I mean, because they're not like they don't have to do as much. They don't have to answer to the people they answer to.
No,
or,
that's
you know,
true.
do as much work.
And you
How
have a
about it?
relationship with them.
Or if you want, we could have Ruth Lorden channel Pat and
There you
Yeah,
go.
Oh
we
my
could-
God, Bob.
Hey, losing Pat was huge.
Yeah.
man.
you know what? I was mentioning
That
this to
was
somebody a
terrible.
few weeks ago. I miss his random phone calls.
Oh God, yes,
And
absolutely.
I miss. Okay, Pat, thanks. And an hour
Yeah.
later,
We're talking about Pat Eberts. Unfortunately, died. Was it a year ago? Christmas
Day,
time.
a year and a half ago.
That'll be a year and a half ago now. Yeah.
almost.
I remember I got that phone call that Pat had died, and I'm like, oh my God, because he's Catherine's third cousin or something,
Something like that.
Yeah.
second or third cousin.
I didn't believe it when I heard. And the thing that was,
I didn't either.
I've been to a number of funerals, especially when I was younger, with old great aunts dying in the Italian world. You all have to know, but
Right.
I've never gone to one where you're seeing a guy, in the casket, and standing next to you talking is his spitting image.
His spitting image.
his
Man.
twin brother.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
like weird.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I mean, right? About
Yes.
that?
Yeah. It was strange.
Pat. God, Pat, I
Are
miss
they
Pat.
twins?
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
identical.
I thought
They
so.
are twins.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was like very strange to be
Yep.
talking to
A little
him.
weird,
Well,
yeah.
it was. Yeah.
All righty, we'll take a break. Be right back. The following is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryan, personal injury
Bye,
lawyers
Alex.
seeking justice for the injured.
Bye,
Oh,
Alex.
that's right. Alex has to leave, doesn't she?
Bye.
Let's go
Not for
shape
4
young
more
minds.
minutes.
I have to go shape.
Oh,
Good luck.
God.
Good
All right.
luck with that.
Thanks a lot. Anyway, the following brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryan, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryan at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. Right back, right after this. More with the Sannies, both of them. For Bradshaw and Bryan, Michael Bryant. Michael, what's up?
Dealing with another case where a person gave a statement to the adjuster because they thought the person was really friendly.
Is that a good idea?
Well, the problem is they know the law when they call you up. And while you're trying to be fair and you're trying to get help, the reality is there are questions you get asked that the way you answer them make a big difference. And people put themselves in trouble. And when they aren't in trouble, they didn't do anything wrong, but suddenly the adjuster's got a statement that can blow up their case completely.
What has caused people to be so untrustworthy, I guess is the best way I could put it? They take advantage.
Well, insurance companies have hired adjusters whose job it is to deal with unrepresented people. So they're supposed to kind of lure them in, call them every day, see how they're doing. And people are like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Where the reality is they've kind of adjusted to their problem that they've got going on. So it's not that they're completely better, but the way they say it gets to be a problem. And that's why having somebody who can explain your rights, represent you, make sure that you understand the law before you give a statement can make a big difference in your case.
Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you right on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach your finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer either, or keep you from calling Josh right now. As a matter of fact, his 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance, no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. And I am a paid endorser. What do you think of that, ladies and gentlemen? We're back. Okay, what were we going to do? I forgot what we were going to do again.
What?
We promoted. We're going to do something, and now I forgot what we were going to do.
You're going to have me tell you what I consider a funny story.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Yes, that's
A
right.
couple of them. One, Dave Bialke, Bialke Law.
Sure.
Now, he married, his wife is from Colombia.
Mhm.
Right. So he said he was watching a draft downstairs. He went upstairs. She was reading. And he told her, hey, the Vikings got a guard. And she goes, a guard? Don't they have a security company that hires their own guard?
Well, that'll
We
happen.
told that story on my show earlier. I just think that's so cute and hilarious.
Yeah, Dave's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And then the other thing that's funny, you heard about this Shedeur Sanders, how he's supposed to go in the first round, went in the fifth.
Yes.
Well, in the second round, all the phone number. Now he had a burner phone, and it was the only number the only people who got it were the NFL teams. But he got prank called by a guy who claimed he was the GM of the Saints, and the guy who prank called him was the son of the Falcons' defensive coordinator Jeff Ulrich, his kid Jax, Ulrich, 21-year-old. His dad's tablet was open, and he said, "Hey, Shador's number." So when he dropped out of the first round, he pranked him, and he bought that it was the GM of the Saints. And now the Falcons have apologized. They said Jackson will apologize to the Sanders family.
Oh God!
It's and by the way, here's one of the, because he probably dropped because he's a jerk. I mean, he would go into meetings with the NFL team wearing headphones, and they wanted him to like break down some of the film where he made mistakes and tell them what he did. He blamed other players, but he made an NIL money, as a college player, like $5.1 million. God. Over the 4 or 5 years, if he stays with the team, he will make $5.1 million as a fifth-round pick.
There you go.
Roughly that. So he had made more. He would have made more money had he stayed in college for another year because he was a junior.
Let me ask you a question. So your wife found out about all this dough, and she followed Alex's lead. They're going somewhere else.
No idea.
Mary dropped off.
Yeah,
she vanished.
I don't know where she went.
Maybe she heard big wind and got worried.
Yeah, could be.
I am not my wife's keeper.
Could be.
Well, I could see you being, or me being my wife's keeper. That would work out really, really well. No question about it. So, Bob, we have not talked much about the draft. I didn't even follow it at all because I had a million things to do. So, how did the Vikings do in the draft?
Well, I will say, because I have been saying for weeks, the only position they did not address in free agency was left guard. They got a guard in the center. They got a right guard in the center from Indianapolis, and they already had 2 good tackles. But I think they made a terrific pick by taking this left guard out of Ohio State. His name is Donovan Jackson, and he played guard mostly. But when their left tackle got hurt, he slid over, and there wasn't a drop off. But he also played against like 3 guys that were drafted in the first and second round, defensive tackles, and they did not embarrass him, and it was like a standoff between them. I think he's going to be a terrific player for them. He's big, and he's always at 3.85. I heard him talk, very intelligent. He's not going to embarrass the team. They went after guys that had character and were smart guys with high character.
I mean, they had a good year last year until they got late in the playoffs. Then they got smoked. But how's that going to work out? Oh, Mary's back. She had to poop. She probably had to poop.
Screwing something up technically,
No.
Stirring something up technically.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so I just, they were very close to being a good team last year. They were a good team. They were close to being a great team last year.
Until Detroit exposed them and the Rams really exposed them.
Yes, absolutely.
So
you think it'll be better?
Mean, if you're a Vikings fan, I'd feel pretty good about just him. But the second guy they took in the third round, a wide receiver out of Maryland. I mean, the last Maryland receiver they got was Stephon Diggs. He worked out okay. Ty Felton is the kid out of Maryland. And I think I talked to my friend from Sports Illustrated, who's very much on top of this. He thinks he's a terrific player. So he could be their third receiver. And they picked up a guy who had been with Arizona, then he got hurt. And Rondell Moore, who is, he could play running back, and he could, you could throw him in for a few plays at running back, and he could also be a receiver. So he's very versatile. It's a good player to have.
No, see, that'd be good. So you think they have improved the team?
I do.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Because, they got close. They were welcome. Oh, wait a minute, Catherine.
No, just the endless optimism of
well,
Minnesota
that's true.
sports fans.
Catherine, I am never optimistic.
You're not?
The Vikings.
Okay.
Because I've seen it, my first year was 1984, the left tackle error. That's ERROR.
Right.
And that was as bad as it got at 3-13. And I saw a lot of flawed teams. And the thing about this, though, we all, fans, media, everyone's been saying for years, decades, they got to fix the offensive line. And they didn't until this year.
Yep. So I'm going to bring something up to you.
Is it enough?
I hope so. Back in the day, now I'm talking about many, many years ago, 45, 50 years ago, something like that. It used to be that Viking games were blacked out in the Twin Cities. You couldn't watch the games on television.
They didn't sell out then.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So this is how big a fan I was of the Minnesota Vikings. I get a call from the dog. Gil Canop was his real name, but everybody called him the dog because he built like a bull. He even walked like a bulldog.
Yeah.
So my brothers, Todd and Tony and Troy and I hop in a car with the dog, and we're going to drive up north till we're out of range.
Oh yeah.
But the range was 100 miles. Okay. Then we couldn't find any place to watch it because it was too crowded. We end up driving 200 miles to watch a Minnesota Viking game on television. And by the way, the signal was terrible when we did.
You had to go north?
Had to go north, yep.
And then you wind up getting the Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah, that's about it. But I mean,
Canada.
that's how big a sports fan, particularly the Twins and the Vikings, of course. I was young enough to hate the Lakers when they left and moved to Los Angeles, and I'll always watch hockey just because of Blue Nanny is the reason I watch hockey. Yeah. There's no question about that.
2-2, by the way, their series.
Yeah. Oh, it is 2-2 now?
Yeah.
Because it looked like it was going to be a blowout for a while there.
Well, they went to overtime and lost, and then last night. Now, I've never been torn like this. I do not, but Mary, we don't drink when we're on the show.
It's coffee.
It's coffee.
It's
coffee.
Anyway, I don't like Anthony Edwards as a person because of what he did with that woman, where he, telling her get an abortion, and then pay off the entire child support for a kid that was just, and it might have been the same kid of the. I'm not sure about that. It was the same kid with the woman. He said, "Get an abortion. Are you getting abortion?" And this woman, it had to be a quick money grab because this guy's going to be incredibly wealthy as the years go on. Right. Why not just take it yearly? Because the money would have gone up.
Yeah.
So she must think that. I think she made a mistake, but that's between their attorneys and their things. But I think he is an incredibly talented player, and he showed it last night. 43 points brought him back from 10 down against the Lakers. And but I just can't get over the fact of how he is as a person. Maybe he'll mature.
I understand that.
And he'll improve that as he gets older. But
well, Mary, I got one tip for you though. If you want to drink on the show, you should invite Adrian Peterson because he's a good drinker too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he got a DUI over the weekend, didn't he?
I didn't see because I was at the expo. Did they give his point what it was?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Andy can find it.
I mean, get an Uber, like.
I
know.
I mean,
should have rode a camel. He's done that before.
Yeah, right? He's ridden camels before. That's true.
1-4.
Oh, that's pretty high.
Double the limit.
Double the limit.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think. I mean, isn't it 0.02 per drink? So slamming back 7 shots and getting behind the wheel, probably not a great idea.
A good
well,
idea.
And it was probably more than that because how much? How tall is he and how much does he weigh? I mean,
true. He probably actually drank quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't live in Minnesota. He was here for the draft, right?
Okay, Uber.
I know.
Uber.
He is. Oh, he's only 6'1", 220. He's actually not that huge for a football player.
He's very muscular, though.
1-4. That's about what he averaged per game for fumbles.
Okay, you were both talking at the same time. What'd you say, Bob?
I said 1-4 is about what he averaged per game for fumbles.
Oh, that's cool.
In the playoffs.
I will tell you, I met him a few times. He was a very, very pleasant guy. I met him on draft day when he was drafted. And he shook my hand, and I've never been able to use that hand again.
Did he give you the bone crusher?
Yes.
And people talk about it. He has the best grip or the strongest grip of anyone you'll ever meet. Yet he couldn't hold on to a football in a key situation.
Yeah, that's probably thought he was going to pop it.
Running back, not a great all-around back.
That's because they don't have any give footballs.
No, they do not. That's very, very true. Yeah. But yeah, I hate to see him going through it because whether it's riding the camel, was that at his wedding or something?
Birthday party.
Okay, and it was something like that.
They gave camel rides?
No, just for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's the only one who
rode a camel into his 30th birthday party.
Oh, there you go.
I gotta be honest. I've always kind of wanted a camel.
You want to get a camel?
Very nice.
And they do
Mary?
okay in snow.
No, they don't really like the cold. I went in Arizona.
Yeah.
I went to a Christmas pageant in the town square.
I was there. Yep.
Yep. And all of the animals were behaving except for the camel,
Oh, God.
who did nothing but sit there and go through the entire play. We were laughing our asses off. The camel had nothing to do with anything. They're very stubborn. You don't want one.
Catherine, you know what's funny about that? Tom just noted Mary was talking over me. She'd be doing that with the camel because she does
Yeah.
I thought
That's
you were
funny.
talking over her.
That's funny because I was just thinking that was the same sound you made when you flop like a fish onto the ground after you got your foot caught in the climb.
No, it was more like,
Like,
son of a.
That's very, very nice.
Yeah, my sister had been going on and on about this Christmas pageant. It was the most wonderful, most touching thing in the whole world. So we're like, all right, we'll go. And the camel just screamed.
God.
So did your sister go with you? Because I actually,
No,
that would have
no.
been the funnier part because I would have been, if she wasn't there, I would have been texting her and like sending her videos, like laughing. That would have been the funny part for me.
Oh, God.
I would have been ridiculing my sister.
This was like probably 10 years ago, huh?
Yeah, at least.
It was a long
It
time
was a
ago.
chilly evening in Sedona, Arizona, and the camel was like, I want to go back to the barn.
I know, but
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't the cold. It was probably his attitude.
The baby Jesus has just arrived.
It was exactly like that. And hark the herald angels.
I've gone like 5 weeks without water and finally got thirsty.
There you go.
It's the best.
Why don't we take our final break, come back and wrap things up right after this? Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
Many car dealers try to create an extreme sense of urgency. Does anybody really buy it?
We gotta sell 100 cars by Saturday to get the boss off the roof. Or, you'll never see these rebates again. And oh yeah, your trade will never be worth more.
Really? I asked Jim Paul from Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Valley GMC in Hastings his thoughts.
I don't even know what to say. I hope folks are smarter than that.
Has there really ever been a time when it was urgent?
Probably not. But this tariff environment might be a first. Valley has several hundred pre-tariff units on the ground. Who knows what's going to happen with the tariffs, but these are really safe buys. Going forward, Valley's committed to make whatever the situation is as painless as possible, like we've always done.
Where can we find you then?
Get them pre-tariff. Hurry, hurry, hurry. When they're gone, they're gone. And man,
At a Valley store in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Certainly not on a roof.
God, I love Jim Paul. I'm trying to get Jim Paul on the show, but he just, I don't know. He doesn't want to appear on the show. I don't get it. I think the world of that guy. Anyway, you're listening. You're listening to me. Your customers listen to me, and they'll hear me promote your business. Reach an engaged audience. The Tom Bernard Podcast attracts thousands of listeners who are loyal, engaged, and ready to support businesses they trust. We've got proven results. As a matter of fact, our podcast has helped numerous businesses increase traffic, sales, and brand recognition. We're not just about ads. We're about results. Whether you're a local business or a national brand, we offer custom advertising packages designed to fit your unique needs and goals. Our audience spans multiple demographics too, allowing you to target your ideal customers with precision, from millennials to baby boomers. Boomers? How about boomers? And everyone in between. So increase your brand awareness. It's what we need to do anyway. With our broad reach and passionate following, your business will see increased visibility and awareness, translating into more customers and sales. You ready to get started? Visit tombernardshow.com. Click on the partner tab and let's discuss how we can work together to grow your business. I really thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sanseviers are brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyer seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. So look at that. I got you a sponsor when you didn't even know it.
I was worried about Mike this morning.
Why?
He was going to be on the show, and I didn't. And he, as you know, he always gets back.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he traveled to the West Coast, and he had some jet lag, and I think he probably slept in. So I was glad to hear from him.
Yeah, where did he go again? Because I got a message from him. Because I haven't talked to him in like 3-4 days, which is really unusual. I used to talk to him about at least each second day.
Yeah, he's in Oregon. Oregon.
Wow.
Which is the
Is he from there?
What's going on in Oregon?
Remember the Oregon Trail? Anybody?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big
I don't
game.
remember the actual Oregon Trail. I'm not quite that old.
No,
I'm not quite that old, but it pops up now because it's trendy again. Kids are playing it, and
Are
it
they?
was like, yes, and it was like one of the very first games that came out. It was so basic, and I had kids in my barn, like they were all talking about it, and I was like, wait, what? The Oregon Trail? And then they started talking about it, and they're like, yeah, my person died of dysentery and scurvy.
Good God.
Yeah,
It was the funniest thing ever. And I'm like, I'm old enough now that these kids are everything goes in circles. And they're now like totally invested in and interested in things that were like trendy and popular a long time ago. It's all coming back.
Yeah,
but yes, they're all playing Oregon Trail, and it's still basic.
Oregon Trail never goes out of style. We about 2 years ago, we went for a walk, and when we got home, we noticed that Ethan's like stuffed animal was missing. We had dropped it somewhere in town, and then about a week later, we got a call. Some high schooler had found it and brought it to their high school, and somehow they traced it back to us, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you can come over to the high school and get this toy back."
That is the cutest thing ever.
Cool, that's pretty cool. So we went over there, and they were having like a retro flashback day with all the these decorations and stuff. But all these retro flashback things were things that I grew up with.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, high schoolers are young, but I don't think of them as like young children, like But,
I think if they look at you, they're seeing somebody who's not.
I mean,
you're going into a high school, and it got like a bunch of like, look, friends, look how old and funny that is. It's like,
you can't hike the Oregon Trail, can you? Like you can the Appalachian Trail?
You would probably die, but you could if you wanted.
I don't think you'll get dysentery, but know.
What about consumption?
Yes, that was the other thing. Consumption. They were asking me about consumption. I'm like, do you think I actually went through this or what?
Dropsy? Do you have some dropsy maybe? The Oregon Trail is 2,100 miles long.
God.
Yeah,
I know, but you can hike it. Yeah, I think they've got camps and things along it. And
still there.
Wasn't there a movie about doing that?
Well, it's literally, it's just a path that they took to go to Oregon from the east.
Yep.
There's no like specific Oregon Trail, I don't think, because in the game you can take different routes. You can go like there's like a north-south branch and that sort of thing. So it's not just like one thing.
I think out west there is like a big trail that you can.
Well, yeah,
go
I'm sure they've made
miles.
all sorts of different like tourist traps out of it, especially after the game came out. Because,
that's true.
All right, any closing words? This show ran kind of long.
Joe gave us a nice throwback to what we were talking about before. If you're worried about microplastics in your bottles, why not go to our website, click the merch link, and buy a stainless steel tumbler to drink your water out of?
There you go.
There you go.
Good
It'll help
job,
you avoid
Joe.
dysentery.
Joe did a great
and
job.
everything else.
It's true.
I avoid bottled water like it's consumption.
I never.
You don't.
I don't drink bottled water much at all.
Liar. Wait.
You've ordered for you and your son. When do I drink bottled water?
Liar.
Okay, that's right. It's not me. It's them.
Well,
I
don't do
drink
it
like
anymore.
6 a day, and I can beat Bob in a race, and I can probably lift more weight.
Yeah,
than
no,
he
you
can.
can't.
Here we go.
Wait, what?
Last time we ran back 30 years ago, you were smelling my fumes.
You were not. Okay, we're gonna go outside and race. Shoes
Okay,
on.
let us know how it works out. All right.
Yes.
I'll run
right,
in
this-
cowboy boots. You
Okay,
run in
Mary.
whatever
That's
you
the
want to
signal
run
to
in.
say goodbye, Tom. Goodbye.
Run in your Crocs. Let's go.
All right.
Oh,
I'll see
marital
ya.
strife.
Have a
Bye.
great week. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Every time I hear the sing reminds me how you talking